Yeah. What's good, y'all? Welcome to another episode of Real Talk, where, as always, if shit's real, we talk about it. Yo, I'm your host for tonight, Pat Scorpio, New England representative. And as always, I got my man with me. I'm going to let him introduce himself.
Hey, yo, what's good? You know who this is? Your boy King P, Bodega Box in the building. Ring Game Radio all day. Let's get it.
Yeah, Sunday night. So since it's Sunday night, are we banning anyone from the bodega this
Bro,
weekend?
I'll be honest with you. Bum ass Barrios should be banned for that fucking pathetic performance he put up yesterday.
Yeah, I concur. Like, I'll get more into, it's no secret that I've not been a fan of Barrios for quite some time. Like, long time.
The Aztecs were conquered again by the conquistadors last night.
Straight up colonization happened, bro. It was just it was Mario Barrios, like I said, trust me, he's gonna get some bars in there, but yeah, bro needs to be banned from the bodega. Like, you're 30 years old, bro. Like, and that's the effort that you gave. Like, we good. Marquise, shout out to Marquise. Barrios needs his boxing license revoked, and I agree. But yeah, we got some bars for Barrios, so yeah, it's definitely stay tuned though. And then also too, the shenanigans for the people that were involved in escalating the weigh-in for Franchon and Clarissa the other day. Yeah, motherfuckers need there's a lot of foolery in, since that fight is happening tonight. We're gonna watch it, obviously, and we'll probably more or less discuss it in much fuller detail probably next week, because depending on what pops off tonight, because it looks like it's going to be one of those. It turns out, it's going to be. I would say it's going to be like a big culture event, if you know what I'm talking about. That's because just based off the energy that I've been getting from this fight. I don't know about y'all, but I shared that clip of them going off at the weigh-in and all that, the fuckery and shit like that. 3 motherfuckers hit me up talking about, what was that, Pat? And I told them, it's like, oh, so when's the fight? I was like, it's tonight. So like, these are people that never really asked me about this before. So I was like, oh, good, this feels a little different. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. I mean, I know LB was just telling me earlier, if foolery really goes off, then he might go live a little later on tonight about it and whatever. But yeah, man, stay tuned for that. But yo, I got my other man with me. I'm gonna let him introduce himself.
Hey, what's Flies Conscious Pod, the West Coast Avenger. Let's get it. Sunday, new day. Let's go.
Yes, sir. It is absolutely a new day. This is the second Sunday without football, so we're in this adjustment stage. So yeah, typically now, usually when football season's over, we do have some Sundays that we will actually do the show and everything like that. And I know, and why we're doing it for this particular Sunday, especially with the fight coming on. Well, there's a couple reasons. Number one, I'm going on vacation in a couple days, so I wanted to make sure we get something recorded and do what I need to do before I head out. And then two, me and Pete, we live in the Northeast, and we're getting hit with another fucking 16 to 20 inches of snow. And in my case, we're supposed to get like a blizzard, and I'm already getting all these notifications from my, my electricity provider. So I gotta make sure that because if I wait until like Monday night, that it probably wouldn't be able to get anything recorded. So yeah, that's what we're doing on 6:30 tonight. So it's all good though. It's all good. But yeah, no. Before we get into the Barrios and Garcia card, because there's plenty of bars for that, I'll just go touch on briefly on fucking Warrington and Leewood's cash grab. And I'll just say this before, like,
both of you retired.
Both exactly. And funny things too, both Wood and Warrington are probably from like the last era of British boxing that they, that they proved to be more than domestic level. Like they were world-class fighters. They had world-class performances.
Nobody asked for this shit, so I just want to say nobody asked for this fucking rematch.
No one did, and because basically the performances from both these guys prior to their cash grab have been less than stellar. Like Warrington is a volume puncher. In his prime, dude was a volume puncher with a mean engine. Like, bro used to hand out some real thorough ass whoopings. Like I always mentioned before, like the Carl Frampton one, which is I think we definitely did an episode on this like way back. Like, was probably it's probably my favorite fight of his because he really whooped Carl Frampton. But those days are done. Like bro had looked incredibly mid since he got knocked out by Mauricio Lara, and it's just like you know he looks every bit of his age, and Lee Wood has had his foot out the door. Like he's 1 foot out the door since that war he had with Michael Conlan, which he won, which is probably still one of the best wars you'll see in the last 10 years. It's great.
Kakashi Wood and Warrington, like they just need to get out the sport. I'm sick of watching them mix it up. I'm just sick of it. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, no, and then and I think I know probably Eddie was like, oh, okay, let me just see what I have one last time. And yeah, the fight itself was incredibly dull, and it was mostly because Lee Wood stayed in his first gear and boxed up, and he didn't look good boxing up too, for that matter, because even then Warrington was still able to bloody his nose, but he was still able to win these rounds over Warrington, who clearly looked like he probably didn't belong in the ring anymore. So like it was just, it didn't like the first fight. It was drama, and it was actually a decent fight, and it ended in a KO for Wood. This one, it was just like, yeah, these guys have had it. So like, I mean, Lee Wood, Josh Warrington, thank you for the entertaining fights you had before the pandemic, during the pandemic, and everything like that. But yeah, your times are clearly up, especially Warrington. Warrington was out here after post fight. He was rambling his ass off, like he was on. He was going through his demons, on the mic. Listen to his dad, blah, blah. But yeah, like you two need to retire. Like you guys were good proponents of British boxing, but yeah, you guys just need to flat out retire. Like y'all don't need the sport anymore. Hopefully your money situation is good, but yeah, like. Yeah, you're done. Like both of you guys are done, and like, yeah, and there's just just don't you don't need any more of this boxing shit anymore, especially not on a main event level.
and shout out to the Indian dude that beat Ishmael Davis. I thought you were on his level, but you dug deep and you outboxed him in the end. I don't know if
he's not Indian. He's half Nigerian, half Lebanese or something like that.
Oh, is he? Okay, he came out like an Indian ass motherfucker. But either way. Yeah. Shout out to him for having that underdog story. You're about to get fed though. Hearn's about to feed you, set you up, and get you against somebody with that fake belt for sure.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, because I mean, obviously in this new British era, like I don't think Hearn. I mean, there's not. I mean, with the women's side, it's a little different, but I think on the men's side, like I mean, I wouldn't say. I mean, Nick Ball's probably like there's not a whole lot of I'd say British fighters that are going past the domestic level lately. So like Nick Boss is probably like one of the few fighters that's done that.
Kelly beat the boogeyman that Boots didn't want to fight.
Yeah, Kelly finally did after because he's been looking shaky on a domestic level. So it's like
and Kelly was at the show. I know Josh Kelly was talking shit at the show. He's a fucking champ. He deserves it. I mean, I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, but yeah, no, he had some loose lips on the mic, but it's. I know he's a champion. You gotta let him live.
I heard. I missed the early fight, but I heard Sandy Ryan might have got a gift in her. She won the title, right? Friend of the show, Sandy Ryan, right?
She did. I didn't watch the fight. I didn't get a chance to. I wanted to run it back this morning, but between the storm and Lush, I had to. I mean, I might catch it at some point.
I turned it on, and it was the Dave Allen fight where he knocked out that can. Shout out Dave Allen.
Yeah, no, that David Allen fight. That's a fight that shouldn't have even been aired. That was but yeah, no, that card was just. I mean, yeah, like I said, if you want to build a retirement card or a cash grab, like. Yeah, basically that show wasn't really it to do, especially for guys that were actually entertaining fighters in their prime and everything like that. So yeah, Warrington, Wood, like happy trails, and like I said, please retire because you guys don't have anything more to offer to boxing anymore. Certainly, at least ring wise. But yeah, I just had to mention if I get that out of the way. And now, of course, we have like obviously the big card, with Mario Barrios and Ryan Garcia, and then I think. Before the card started, we had another incident where an IBF champion, fell ill prior to their title defense.
AKA he can't make the weight anymore.
Yeah, he was a big welterweight. He was a big 147. Honestly, I'm sick of the IBF. Like, they're the only sanctioned body that does that. Like, at this point, just drop it. Why do y'all have that rule if none other body has it? I don't know. That's just my
opinion. Because people shouldn't be coming in 30 pounds over fucking weight.
Exactly, and that's the only reason why I don't have an issue with this. But
make it like 15. I mean, 10 is bare. I mean, 10. I know that's
20 pounds is a lot of fucking weight, like, to be carrying in the fucking ring. Rehydrating. These motherfuckers should not be rehydrating that much.
Because most do 20. I feel like 20 pounds probably is an average. 15 to 20 pounds, I figure, right, for most fighters.
Yeah, no, but I get the rule because, like P said, like, there's some motherfuckers in here that be draining, and then they rehydrate to some ridiculous weights, and they look like they're at least 2 or 3 divisions heavier than they're supposed to, and that's what the IBF was trying to curb, and what it's doing is it is exposing these type of fighters that are cutting all this weight and knowing that they're not doing it, but it's like, because if you're fighting at 140 weight, you should be able to comfortably make their limits. And be able to go in the ring and not be half dead or drained or whatever the fuck, And then Hitchens, and there was already talks, like, I know there was an interview posted, people mentioning his weight, and it's like, and I know, and Hitchens could have made this a lot easier for himself, because the only way that an IBF champion can avoid this, outside, of course, heavyweights don't need this. The only way that any champion outside of heavyweight can avoid this is if they go into a unification fight, which Hitchens probably could have done if he wanted to. So he didn't. So he wouldn't have to follow the rehydration rule. But like I said, my big thing with Hitchens is I always think that he lets other people take his work, or and I think he's a fine fighter. Like, I don't have any issues with Hitchens as a fighter, other than he stays in first gear too much. But I just want him to be he moves in a way that's kind of that I don't necessarily like all the time.
Shaky. It's very shaky moving.
Yeah,
I like Hitchens.
Yeah, he's got to go to welterweight though. I mean, I think you can't make that, because I know. Real quick, I want to mention I watched the Sean Porter podcast, and he gave his dwelling, his explanation as to why he struggled in the Lemos fight. He was talking about the rehydration, and he had to, like, do it at a certain time, and that's what causes bad performance, And it's like, you're a big motherfucker anyway. Like, I know the belt matters a lot to him. He needs the belt because his fighting style is kind of like, people might duck that, right? But
yeah,
at the same time, it's like, just go to welterweight and do your thing, because you got the talent. I mean, clearly you got the talent,
Yeah, and I feel like, like I said, it goes like some fighters just. I mean, 140. Obviously, is better in terms of competition than 147 right now. But I think it's just like like we get on Prograis. Like, Prograis should have went to 147, but he kills his body to the point where now he's getting rocked by Jojo Diaz over and over and over again.
That's crazy. Yeah, the thing is, they don't want to lose their advantages. The 140 guys, like, they don't want to, even though welterweight's weak right now, like, they don't want to give up their advantages they have at junior welter. I guess that's what I get out of it, especially with Prograis.
Yeah, it is, and I think, and it's getting to the point where, I mean, Prograis's career is like, he has to now, if he doesn't make this change, I mean, it may be too late for him, like, because I know he's getting older, but Hitchens is 28 right now. Hitchens can go to welterweight right now, and I'm pretty sure he'll have a little bit more pop in his punches and more everything.
He'll make weight more comfortable, and you don't have to go through the rehydration. I mean, look at the champs at welterweight. You can definitely win a belt there. I mean,
like he could beat a Crocker, he could beat a Rowley, he could beat a Ryan Garcia, and then he could have an interesting fight with Devin Haney. You know what I'm saying? I mean, interesting it'll be. I wouldn't say it'd be interesting to watch completely, because they're not action
for fighters. Hardcore. For the hardcores, we like, maybe not Shudder. Shudder probably.
Yeah, no, and LB would be like, would be like, ugh, God, But I mean, it's for a hardcore fight, or for anyone that it's a sweet science fight. That's what it is. So yeah, it's just, I mean, just a story, like, and Hitchens made both the weights. It wasn't like he couldn't make he didn't make the second weight. He made it. And then all of a sudden, he's like throwing up and they're saying it's food poisoning. And that's the shit that set off a real flag. It's not food. Like, because when this happened before, it wasn't too long ago. It was food poisoning that was mentioned, and then, the whole thing with Schofield, that was suspect. And it was just like, come on, guys. Like, we got to be better. Because I know Duarte was pissed. Duarte, again, got in there, called him a pussy, this, that, and the third, and Oscar wasn't happy about it. So, I mean, Hitchens needed this fight with Duarte to kind of increase his appeal because, Hitchens was already up in the cameras talking about, yeah, I'm a free agent, blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, who's gonna take a risk on you? I mean, if the IBF decides to take that belt off you, then you basically lost your major bargaining chip.
In the IBF, can't you activate a mandatory on that? I thought there's that WBO, or I know a couple of the sanctioning bodies. You could the weight below. You can
the WBO. The WBO is the only one that does it. Like, you can go up, and
I mean, and you'll get a higher ranking, obviously, in the IBF. I mean, if you go up,
yeah,
you'll probably be top. I mean, look at Keyshawn. I mean, look at guys that move up all the time in the body. They had belts that they always have a high top 3 ranking and not even fight the division. So
yeah, but then Keyshawn had a WBO belt, so that was
that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, no. Whereas the IBF is like, I don't think because I mean, IWBO will just say, "Oh, you're a super champion" or whatever, though, and then you'll go up and you'll do. And this, I mean, that's how Usyk got to be number 1 for the heavyweight, and then, and then of course the whole fuckery between Fury and Joshua and Wilder, and led the way. The fuckery led to him actually being the top heavyweight of his eras. It happens though. But Hitchens, yeah, it was just disappointing because that was one of the undercard fights everyone was anticipating, for a lot of different reasons. And truthfully, too, it would have been, and honestly, just by that, because I know most people were like, Hitchens will probably box him up, but I'm still of the mind state that Duarte would have given that dude a hard time. Like, there's nothing, because Duarte's style is he has a chin, he looks like he's on some shit, he punches hard and stuff like that. So like, and he has a motor.
Yeah, and salute to him for trying to speak English. Like, I think it's kind of a little corny. People overblow the shut up pussy. It was kind of funny, but like, I think, but at least he tries to speak English and shit. It's broken, but
yeah, I mean, it was funny. I'm not gonna hold you. Like,
no, it was funny at the time. It was funny at the time for sure.
Yeah, because Hitchens had nothing to say. Hitchens didn't say anything. He didn't say anything slick back. Like, he let that motherfucker snarl. That motherfucker snarled that shit too.
He pulled that Canelo shit out of his pocket.
Yeah, exactly. That motherfucker. Yeah, like, he should have, like, yeah, Hitchens had nothing to say. Like, and after this too, like, yeah, Duarte won that round. You know what I'm saying? Like, Duarte won that. Like, he won that fight without actually winning the fight.
That was the only entertaining part of the whole that press conference. That was the only, Facts. And then Gary Anton was fucking instigating in the middle of things.
He was like, that's that DMV shit. Like, he knew what time it was, so he was like, yeah, you know what? Let me aggravate these niggas real quick, because he's the other 140 champion. So yeah, let me rile these niggas up a little bit. What is the shout out to 140 Gary Russ, and Angry Fist, as LB likes to call me. And we'll talk more about him in a little bit. But it was disappointing though. So because of that, one fight that was going to be for the previews got bumped up, which was the Amari Jones versus Luis Reyes fight. And I'll say this about that fight. It's good to see an American.
I'll tell you a word about that fight. Arias is cooked.
Yeah, very cooked. Yeah,
barbecue chicken.
Yeah, I mean, Arias at one time, he was down with Floyd Mayweather. Dude was actually, he fought on HBO back in the day, and and he gave. I mean, for the most part, he gave a good account of himself. Like, he wasn't he was a good gatekeeper, but he,
But him beating Hurd extended that lifeline of his career.
Yeah, it did.
Hurd on that Logan Paul, I think, or whatever, Paul card, Mayweather. I don't know. It was a big card, right?
Yeah, it was the Logan Floyd shit. And
Floyd shit, yeah.
Yeah, he beat up fucking Hurd, and also Hurd dropped him too.
It was like raining and shit. That's where it was like raining and shit. Like it's kind of wet and rainy and drizzling out there. But I mean, I extended him, and I agree with P. I know he was washed, but I expect a little bit more out of him. I mean, Amari Jones, I don't know if Amari Jones is like that. I've watched him a few times, but hey, good performance.
No, he's good. Amari Jones is good. I like him.
Yeah, Amari Jones is the good.
Both of them, the O and the A, both Amari Joneses, they're solid prospects for sure.
Yeah, no, but I just think because just look at how he was moving. Usually a shot fighter, you can always tell if they're shot by their footwork, and his footwork was just fidgety and it was a little bit too jumpy. Like he basically didn't look like he had his feet underneath him from the opening, but even before he got hit with his first punch.
Was that stopped in the third round? Was it the third round?
It was fourth round.
Fourth, they stopped in the fourth,
they had to because it was just like Amari Jones was just beating the living shit out of him. So
I mean, at least he got on the pay-per-view. I mean, portion,
Yeah, so I mean that's the only good thing is just to see a young American prospect, in middleweight, because like I said, middleweight needs all the talent it can get, even like future prospects. And make sure Amari Jones right now might even be a fringe contender at this point in that fucking division, to be honest with you. You know what I'm saying, though? But it was good that the young boy got himself a good look, and he got himself a KO in front of a pay-per-view audience. So I'm cool with that. And then, I guess I should mention the preview since they did get a couple. They did get some leeway. Joshua Edwards and him going a distance with the fucking hitchhiker.
With Jake the Snake. Shout out Jake the Snake Roberts. He did his thing.
Yeah, because that's one of them fight. First, I'm not gonna hold against Josh Edwards because he's 5-0. He's still a rookie, and boxing is always full of tough guys that even if they don't get enough attention, like they are there.
Knock them out. You can't knock them out. Yeah, I mean,
and I think Dew was Canadian too, so it's like
sometimes what are you talking shit about? Like, what are you talking shit about? Some other Canadian? I don't know what he was talking about, but he was talking his shit after.
Yeah, he was talking his shit though. But I mean, sometimes you can't judge a book for its cover. Like, dude looked like he basically looked like one of the old school 1970s, 1980s like jobbers. That contest would feast on. But he gave Edwards a good run for his money. Like, he lost all the rounds though, but Edwards could knock him out.
He landed some shots too. Edwards. I ain't gonna lie. The past couple performances from Edwards have got me tapered down my expectations for him. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, I mean, he stopped. I mean, he was stopping him, and like I said, but he's at the point where he's still a young fighter, so I'm not gonna hold it against him that someone who's like 7-1 was able to kind of take him the distance, and I'll be like, and so, but people made a big deal of it on social media or whatever, but it is to each of his own. Like, it wasn't like this is like he's like a 20 fight veteran, and someone like this is going to distance with him, and you look on kind of struggle. Then then some difficult conversations would need to be had, but I mean, it's a learning process. Hopefully he will learn from it. And it also looks like Muhammad Alakel has learned to actually sit on his punches and actually get people up out of there, because he scored only his second career knockout. And you've heard me, I've talked about the Saudi fighters, and Alakel is probably the most prominent of the ones like that. And for once, he actually showed, because I think he started working with Abel Sanchez, and Abel Sanchez is one of the few trainers that actually focuses on conditioning, really focus on conditioning and make sure that fighters are sitting on the punches, because he did his work with Triple G and made Triple G's a real issue, a real problem during his run. So I'm guessing Alakel at least listened, and punished dude with his jab, and then got him up out there with vicious body shots. So I just had to mention it there. Alakel looks like he has. I still don't want to see him on almost every major ring card, but I had to give him a little props for that, because I was like, God damn, he beat the shit out of the dude. You know what I mean? So definitely had to mention that. But back to the main card. Someone who I think is probably starting to spoil on the vine a little bit is Beck the Bully. I don't know. What do you guys think about Beck the Bully's performance?
He did what he was supposed to do. Sanea Becko is fucking talking about washed. He's more washed than Aries.
It was what it was. So
he did what he's supposed to do.
Yeah, exactly.
I just wish it didn't take 7 rounds for him to do it.
I still think like a guy like Austin Iglesias and Billy would. I mean, and Billy, yeah, I think and Billy and Austin would fuck him up. I mean, like he's on that second tier of super middleweights, Beck.
He is, because Oscar, I don't know what it is. I mean, Abeko is, I mean, like I say, he doesn't have any real world-class victories, and he's known for his brutal knockout losses and stuff like that. So I get, yes, he got knocked out by Beck the Bully, but it's just the way that Beck the Bully, I don't think he wasn't even listening to his corner. Like his corner was be telling him like, yo, step on the fucking gas. And this motherfucker be, because people, people, I think he's Uzbekistan or whatever. And I know they all have a way of, the moving, the shifting, the pivoting, all that other stuff. And dude was doing that just to do it. And it was fucking annoying me.
Yeah. It's very weird, herky-jerky, and it's not aesthetically pleasing either.
No, and it's like dude would have Abeko hurt, and he's standing there in front of him, and it's like, okay, like throw some punches, and you have to see him get into position to actually throw one shot at him, and it was fucking Kim. I was like, why is he fighting like this? Like,
do you think? Rosado knocking him out the way he did, do you think that's something that just kind of stuck with him for the long haul in terms of being somewhat shell shocked, not want to fully pull the trigger? I don't know.
If Abeko was letting heat on him, like Fulgham was giving it was like he fought a lot better in the Fulgham fight. Like Fulgham was that was like, but in this fight, Abeko got hurt so many times before he actually got dropped, and you can see dude just standing in front of him, and then you can see him shifting his feet just to throw one power shot at him. It's fucking weird. Like, he would shift or he would pivot. And I'm like, you don't need to pivot.
But Beckett, he had to dig deep for that Fulgham fight because it was close. He had to dig deep to win that shit in the end.
Yeah, he had to dig deep, but I don't mind that. But it's just like he knocked out Beko, but it's like, if Oscar wants to get a belt on this dude, especially now that the belts are all splintered and stuff like that, like you got to. So something needs to happen with his style that is like. Honestly, he may need to go back to his old style before he got clocked by Rosado, because all this hesitant and waiting and shit like that and pivoting and standing in front, like if he's not careful, like he'll get clocked again, But like I said, Beck the Boy did what he was supposed to do, and he got him up out there. But I just wish it didn't take him 7 rounds to do it, But but like I said, those first 2 fights on the main card, like they serve the purpose, for their fighters. And then we get to the part of the card where the fights got more interesting with Frank Martin and Nahir Albright. Truthfully, that might actually be the fight of the night, because this is a fight that I wished was 12 fucking rounds. This deserved to be a 12-round fight, because those motherfuckers threw some hands in that fight. Like it was Albright, because you have Martin. Martin is an athletic fighter, and his boxing skill has improved, whereas Albright is a Philly fighter through and through. Like dude is fundamentally sound.
Yeah,
and
he's like
awkward.
he's like a Jermaine. He's not great at anything per se, but he's well rounded, kind of like a black Jermaine Ortiz. I don't know. He's kind of. You got that grittiness, unlike Jermaine Ortiz.
Bro. Yeah, he's a Philly fighter. He's great. Like he has a style that's it's difficult.
It's versatile and awkward. It's like awkward and versatile. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah. And ironic, because you mentioned Jermaine Ortiz. Jermaine Ortiz is probably the only guy to clearly beat him.
I think Keyshawn beat him, but yeah, I know what you mean. Jermaine Ortiz won more clear than him, fairly.
Yeah, like Keyshawn. It was a closer fight, and Keyshawn didn't look good in that fight. He won, but it wasn't like it was overwhelmingly like. Keyshawn probably won by maybe a round or 2 at the max. And. Yeah, and Ortiz won by several rounds. Like, just watching that fight, but Albright though, like I said, Albright showed I think every division needs a good spoiler in their division, a good talented spoiler. Like and because spoilers used to happen in a lot of divisions. 140 is definitely a good division where we need a spoiler to kind of weed out who the pretenders are and who isn't. Martin is not a pretender. but it's clear that he's there's a level that he's at right now. That I wouldn't say he's top of the heap, but he can be taken out by a B, or he's a B level himself, but he can be taken out by a C level fighter at any given time. But
yeah, he was hurt. I mean, to Frank's credit, early in the fight, Frank was hurting Albright.
He was,
but late in the fight, the tables turned. I mean, Albright was hurting him for sure, studying him a lot.
Yeah. Like the odd, because Albright has a mean 2-1 and a 2-1-2, and Martin had a hard Martin for what he got hit by the ones a lot.
I think every time he was capitalizing on the pivots. Every time Frank would kind of laterally move or something or pivot, Albright was able to time that right hook or something. I don't know. He was Albright was timing him later in that fight. I was like, damn, it got good late. I ain't gonna lie, it got really good late.
Yeah, it got really good because because what Martin was doing, and this is a flaw, is he was keeping his chin in the air. Like he didn't have a hand or anything deflecting these shots. Like and then finally it caught up to him in the last round, and Martin was done. Like he was out of there. Yeah. And if it wasn't for the fact that Albright, for whatever reason, couldn't keep his mouthpiece in his mouth, and he dropped his mouthpiece twice from his mouth, and he had to stop it. And every second in that ring it's recovery time for Martin.
It's valuable. I don't know. I feel like the ref kind of helped Martin a little bit, but it's clear you could tell Frank. You could tell Frank. It was a late start. I think he started at 17, whereas you can tell Albright his box longer. You can just tell a little bit off experience. I don't know.
Yeah. What were you about to say, P?
No, I was gonna say Albright was that fucking mouthpiece fucking screwed him over because I mean I don't know why the fuck he kept spitting it out, or couldn't hold it in. Pause. But if he does that, there's a good chance he gets a knockdown. He wins the fight.
Exactly. And I would say too, like if it was a 12-round fight, Martin would have not lasted the 11th round. Like he would have been probably taken out in the 11th round. Like he was finished.
I mean, post fight, it's not like his jaw was broke. The way he was talking, you could clearly tell his jaw was rearranged.
Yeah, I know, but at least Martin though was honest. Like he said, Martin's like, I have to be better. Like
Yeah,
like,
for sure. Frank.
So Frank knew, and I guess. After the Bartholomew fight where he fought above where most people thought he was, Albright brought him back to earth. But it's good because at least people realize now that Albright is a legit spoiler and he's a legit fighter in that division.
I'm just glad that they didn't rob, because they could have easily gave Frank the win here. I mean, honestly, they could have. A draw was about as fair as you can get. Some people thought Albright won. People thought Frank won. So I think a draw was perfectly fine in that fight.
Yeah, and I know now they have talks about running it back, and I would love to see that fight again because, like I said, this is one of those fights where unless Frank's trying to get fast track to a 140 fight for a 140 champion, like I wouldn't mind seeing that fight at all because I said, Albright upped his his reputation, like he's standing, like but it was like it's rare you see a universal draw, a unanimous draw in boxing. So just to say, when I heard all three judges said 95-95, I was like, yeah, I knew it. And like I said, you can't even be mad that it was a unanimous draw. But I would love to see that fight and fucking and I already had it in my and I know fucking Albright. First of all, dude what song did he come in again with? His ring walk. Was it Whitney Houston?
Who?
Was it a Whitney Houston joint again? I'm trying to remember.
I think it was. I can't remember.
Yeah, I was just which is a wild song in itself though. But the dude was like, you know what? I didn't lose, and I was gonna sing when I win. Fuck it, I'm gonna sing and get these bars off. Motherfuckers start crooning and shit like that. But like I said, boxers, you gotta do some extra shit like that because it's gone a little bit viral, not completely viral, but niggas be like, oh, that's a singing boxer. You know what I mean?
And he reps, and he rep Philly to the fullest. Boyz II Men's fine, Philly's finest, Boyz II Men. So shouts out to
Although his falsetto needs a little work. I'm not gonna hold you. It cracks a little bit. Like, I used to sing in the choir. I know when niggas' voice crack when he's singing.
He ain't no Wanya Morris, but he's good. He can sing.
Yeah, but shout out to Albright. Like I said, Albright is is good and is a really solid fighter. And you need a solid fighter 140. You need a fighter there that will weed out the pretenders or give the contenders a good hard fight.
He's kind of become like the Vlad Hernandez of the 140 kind of. He's kind of becoming like Nick Flaz of welterweight. Just but maybe a higher level.
Yeah, he's because Vlad Hernandez is actually more Frank Martin in terms of how he got into boxing than Albright.
Yeah, true.
Vlad he had this, he's basically like, Vlad came in like, he was a late starter too, and he did what he did, but I get what you're saying though, straight up though. I do get what you're saying though, but that was a great fight, and then because of course of Hitchens getting thrown off for the for him getting sick, quote unquote, basically Hiroka and Russell got promoted to the co-main. And for in the beginning, I thought it was going to disappoint because Hiroka. I mean, we've been aware of Hiroka for a while. Like we've seen him fight before, and even as most people were like, and I was like the one that was like he should have gotten a shot earlier because I know I used to argue with LB on here. Like I don't want to see fucking Rolly. I don't want to see Pitbull. I wasn't a fan of seeing Ray. Like I want somebody. I want one of these cats to face Hiroka. Like I had these arguments on them, and then LB was like, we need to have this event. We need to make this event. Blah 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 and stuff like that. So it was just like the back and forth we had on that until finally the Russell was the first WBA champion to like, okay, we're going to give them a shot. So
and Hiroka's that counter puncher through and through.
Yeah, it was, and then the reason why I didn't have an issue with what the score was Hiroka. I think the game plan for Hiroka is a mean counter puncher. Like if you give him an opportunity, that's how he operates. If you're super aggressive, dude will light you up with counters. But Russell found a way to get him off his plan early because the shoe shines and.
The pressure, the constant pressure.
The constant pressure, and then you add to the fact that Hiroka hadn't fought in like 5. I think he says like 500 something days,
and he flied in the day before. There's a lot of things against. I ain't gonna lie, there was
a lot, and originally, and then and then it was getting to the point where like a lot of people would be like, oh, this guy's just a bum. Like he fought in Japan. Like, he ain't really what he is. And it looked like for half of people, they were going to be right. Cause it would have been hard to kind of co-sign dude for what he was, after he puts on a performance like that.
Until the second half of the fight, until that body work, until he started investing in that body, because that body work was beautiful. He was hurting. He slowed down Gary a lot. With that
once dude decided to match body shots with body shots. I mean, Russell did the body shots too, and it became it jumped from okay, this was getting kind of one-sided to goddamn, like Hiroka has heavy fists, has heavy hands, and you don't see fighters land combinations to the body. I'm not talking about like 1-2s, like dude was landing like 5-6 punch combinations to the gut. And Russell did like none of that shit.
I don't know if I know Gary Antoine's beat Hitchens and boots and the and amateurs got the best of them, but it's like I don't see that layer of that. Like other amateur boxers, you can see that certain qualities, but for I don't know, Gary Antoine, I don't see it as much in him in terms of his style. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I was aware because, like I said, because I was tapped in early to the DC.
You're Gary.
And the Russells are damn near amateur legends over there. Like from 126 Gary Russell up, like they're all like damn near amateur legends there. And and I hear you, but sometimes amateurs and pros are a little bit different.
It's different. Yeah, it's different. But the layers are. I don't know. Gary is good at what he does, but I just don't see the layers and the fluidity of some other amateurs. I don't know.
I'll say it's too because I mean this fight. I mean Gary Antoine Russell has always been good with his one because he's super aggressive and he punches hard. And sometimes, sometimes it's enough. And he is talented. He has a lot of physical gifts.
Yeah, he has lots of hands, good footwork and fast hands for sure.
Yeah. Basically, he's schooled that way. But his boxing IQ is it's not mid, but it's not great. You know what I mean? Like it's average. Like the Puello fight was the first fight that really kind of. Well, no, it was the Rancis fight. The Rancis fight kind of showed you because Rancis was like giving that dude all types of hell.
He was stunning him in the tracks. Yeah, even Postol was having some success until he wasn't.
Yeah, exactly. And then, but the Puello fight kind of really exposed his limitations because Puello, like, for as many close fights that Puello has gotten, this is like the one fight that Puello won, like clear. He won it regardless of the split decision that he got. Like he won that fight. Like it wasn't. And he had Russell like ragged and almost ready to go in the last 2 rounds type shit. But then he beats up Rayo and it's just like, but it seemed like once Hirooka made the adjustment to light him up with the body, Russell just had nothing. Like he just tried to, he tried to match body shots with body shots. Android, great night of fights and appreciate the donation. Gary Antoine Russell is not a traditional boxer. No, he's not. And I don't mind. Like I enjoy Gary Antoine Russell's style. Like I like fighters that fight aggressive. Like, but it just seemed like when he fights higher caliber fighters. Yeah, he has his one dimensions kind of show too much.
And he had that 18 for 18 KO streak, but ever since he stepped up and come, because even the Rancis and the Postal stoppages were a little suspect. I know that happens with a lot of guys. The power, but he had 100%. Like he was knocking all those cans out. So it's like it's just a little different now when you're at that level.
Yeah, and he didn't come close to knocking Puello out. So
he did, and that was his birthday weekend. I remember that. And I will say, even though Andy Hirooka lost, shout out to the Blasian the Blasian nigga, because he actually he won in the loss because like a lot of people thought Gary was gonna blitz him and stop him. And I was like, it's gonna be a good fight. You're tripping. He's not gonna walk through Hirooka, and Hirooka kind of his stock grew a little bit from the loss. To be honest,
I think it grew up because it was like, God damn, like because you could tell by the end of it, you could tell the crowd was fucking with the fight and they were fucking with him because Hirooka, like once he slowed down Gary Russell, like the shots to the head, because he used the good up jab, like the stiff jab, like he gave it was to the point where even 126 Gary Russ, he said, what the fuck are you doing? Like bro knew that his brother was was giving the fight away, and then I think in round 10 or 11, then, basically a turning point of the fight came when Hirooka landed 2 low blows. The first low blow wasn't as blatant.
Is it the same round or was it separate rounds?
No, I think one was early. I think it was early in the round, and then it was later on in the round. But the second one, clearly the second one. Yeah, that second one. And the funny thing is, how bad a low blow is when it's an audible low blow. Like that shit. Like I know. Fighters wear cups and protectors and stuff like that. But I'm thinking to myself, God damn, like he must have hit that nigga hard because dude dropped. Like the first one was like, okay, he hit him a little low, he got. But the second one, like dude was in pain. Like so, I know motherfuckers look like he's like I know I saw it like damn like it looked like Hirooka damn near wiped his ass with that punch. I said that's a fucking that's a disturbing description of that fight. But that second low blow came from the fucking floor. Like that was
an uppercut to the ball straight up.
But to be fair, Russell was kind of bent over, and I know he was aiming for the body. It was just, unfortunately, he lost control of that punch, and he got a point took. But then, and I'd say that Russell was never 100% in the fight again. But what I liked about that was he still fought hard. But
because the round after he looked like he was hurt still, or he was still feeling that shot.
He was still feeling it. But like I said, you got sometimes as a fighter, you gotta show like you gotta be able to dig deep and do.
You gotta have gumption. You gotta have a certain gumption, to be great. I don't know. You gotta have.
Yeah, but like I said, the final round though, like I said, Hirooka was whooping on him in the final round too. Like it was just like and it was like I was like, oh, did Hirooka do enough? But I was in my mind, I was thinking to myself like that point deduction. Like if he lost because of the point deduction, then I could see him losing. But then, like I said, the judges saw the non-effectiveness of Hirooka operating as a pure counterpuncher against, and the scores kind of reflected that. And truthfully, I was like, I can't disagree. I cannot disagree.
No, I had a 114, 113. Like a draw would have been good, but obviously the point deduction, obviously was the deciding. I mean, obviously the scores were a little wider than that, but
yeah,
I mean, a couple of the cards, right? My shit fucked up. Was it like 116, 111 or something like that?
It's all for there was two 116, 111s and then 117, 110.
117, 110 is crazy.
117, 110 might be a little crazy, but I can see the 116, 111.
The experience one period of fight in a sense, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so considering what Hirooka went through to finally get his shot at the title, like dude put it. I wouldn't say it's a star making performance, but he put on a performance that let people know, like, okay, this is like I'm not a joke. Like I'm not just some random half Japanese, half Ghanaian fighter. That just come out of fucking nowhere and just like I just have a reputation. Like I can absolutely fight. So, and truthfully, I would love to see them run that back, but I have a feeling that fight's probably less likely to happen in a rematch. I'm pretty sure Russell would not want to run that back anytime soon. But yeah, again, that was a hard fight, and it was a fight that started out kind of, but it ended like you could tell both fighters were in the actual fight. Like I fuck with that. Like Russell showed the intangible, kept his belt. He was no one and done, and Hirooka, legitimized himself as a top 140 fighter. So you can't ask for anything more than that. So that was basically at this point, that was the high point of this card. And then we get the main event. We get fucking Mario Barrios making his third title defense as a full welterweight champion against Ryan Garcia, who had not won a fight in quite some time and was last seen getting bullied by Rolly, losing an embarrassingly wide decision and fucking up people's parlays on top of that too. I know my parlays were fucked because of that bullshit. But yeah, and I know P probably called it more that this will probably be one of them fights. It'll be kind of be boring and shit like that.
Dull, yeah, and it was dull.
Yeah. Although we did get a brief ray of hope that that fight would have ended though when Ryan actually dropped dude within the first 25 seconds of the fight, and I'm thinking and it was a right hand, not his left hook, and I'm thinking to myself, oh, okay, so Barrios wants to go down in round one now. Okay, so and truthfully, if the fight had ended in probably the last at least in the first 3 rounds, I mean, it would have probably maintained the high point of the pay-per-view, regardless of what we all think about Ryan Garcia, and it would have been like, okay, this was a damn good card, but instead, this shit goes on for 12 fucking rounds. And it shouldn't have to. And Ryan, for the most part, he looked sharp. Like everything, like he looked more sharp than he had been in a long time. He was in good conditioning. Like he got off his punches first. The right hand was right-handing. He didn't land too many left hooks on him like that. But
everybody say he's juicing. Everybody saying that he's back on that. He's back on that stuff.
I mean, he looked. He did look shredded too. But I mean, I guess we'll have.
He did.
I mean, we'll have to see what is.
King P called it. That shit was boring as fuck. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, no, it was just because we're waiting for Barrios to fall. Barrios, I don't know what Joe Goosen was doing in that motherfucker's corner, but I think Joe Goosen was just there for a payday. Like
Goosen was definitely some. Some of the conspiracies about Goosen just being the inside man. It feels like, come on, man, like. The fuck you? I mean, I know Barrios is trash, but like, come on. Like, I expected, even though I expect a little bit more out of Barrios, man. Come on, dude. Like, what the fuck was that?
Barrios is a whole world champion. Barrios was in a ring with fucking Manny Pacquiao. He shared a ring with Manny Pacquiao. He shared a ring with Tank.
Keith Thurman, Tank Davis. Like, I mean, even Ugas. Yeah, I mean, he fought some good, and maybe he shot for, and he probably, he got the title gifted to him and got three paydays. He's probably good, especially that Manny payday. And he got a Manny Pacquiao and whoever's his manager. Shout out to his manager because you made a great career out of Barrios. Somehow, somewhere.
And Barrios is basically a C-level fighter. That's being masqueraded as a top fighter. And Barrios, I mean, it goes. I mean, not even the Aquadev fight, because even people, it was the Tank fight, because the Tank fight was the fight that made people, say that, oh, wait a minute, so he's giving Tank all this trouble, and it's largely because Tank was moving up a division and he was fighting a bigger guy, and Barrios, was able to bring the fight to him before he eventually got stopped, and that's what made people think that, oh, Barrios is, if Barrios can give Tank a hard time, surely he must be elite. Or I wouldn't say elite, but sure he must be a good fighter. And then, he fought Thurman after that, and Thurman basically rearranged his face and flattened his nose, all types of shit like that.
Yeah, so something Ryan failed to do last night.
Yeah, Ryan. It's like Ryan had all this in the world. Like Ryan had all that was landing at will, but could not seem to put a combination together. Like Ryan should have been able to land with his hand speed and his power. Should have been able to land on him repeatedly to make them pull Barrios out of the fight. Whether it's a ref stoppage, a corner stoppage, a doctor stoppage, it should have been. Ryan never got to the point of actually getting Barrios in that situation.
Ryan should have stopped him. Come on now.
Ryan should have absolutely stopped him, but it dragged out. And most people were, and I know Crawford was sitting there watching that shit, was like, is this it? He's watching two motherfuckers, fight for a belt that he gave up because he didn't want to, because, he, like, Barrios was Crawford's WBC Mando, and, Crawford's not going to waste his time with no fucking Barrios. If he's not
that would have been a murder. Like, come on.
Yeah, that would have been a murder. Or Gyro, it's murder. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it was just so tedious to watch. And of course, it didn't help because the fucking main event started after midnight if you're on the East Coast. So it's just like, geez, like this is dragging out. Where I know Pilot, it's just like, oh wow, it's 9:30, and like let me, it's still early over here. So, but yeah, it took Barrios finally crapping out at title defense number 3 for Ryan to finally pick up a belt in his 4th division, because he started at 130 if I'm not mistaken. He started out at 130. It took him going up 4 divisions for him to actually get his first world title, which of course I know the WBC is happy as anything because dude moves the fucking needle for better or for worse in boxing, and it's usually, in my case, it's for worse because I've never been a fan of Ryan Garcia, even before he became like really, really, truly known. I was not a fan of that dude, but but he moves the needle for a lot of these guys because he utilizes social media for a lot of things that he does.
Unfortunately,
yeah, and of course he's MAGA and he's all types of shit. Like he's affiliated with a lot of different people, so people know who he is. So, and he's Hispanic and stuff like this. So it's like, yeah, okay, he's, for better or for worse, he has a title now, so they could actually they could actually market him. And I know after that he called out Shakur Stevenson and like he wants that work. And I mean, truthfully, now of course we all know that Shakur will probably, that it will probably be one of the most one-sided fights you'll ever see because Shakur, he probably won't even lay a hand on Shakur. if he fights him. That's for sure. Like, but if that's what he wants, that's what he wants. If he wants Shakur to go up to get a fifth world title, so be it. But Ryan, basically, and I hate to say it too, he's probably the money man of the division, because pretty much any fight that if you want to kind of sell will probably have to go through him, even though he's not the best fighter. That's Devin Haney. Devin Haney is probably the best champion, and Haney has already went on record as saying that he's not fucking around, that he's not running it back with dude.
Well, during I think like about an hour ago, he did post rematch, biggest fight in boxing all over the social media. Haney did, so you know how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, because all these young niggas today, they all have Twitter fingers, so it's more like I'll believe it when I see it type of deal. Like Keyshawn, Tank, Devin, they all got Twitter fingers, bro. Shakur, they all Twitter fingers. Until I actually see a contract signed and everything like that, it's all hearsay. But I'm just going by what they're saying in words. And Haney has said he's not fucking around with this shit for a rematch. So that's what I'm going to go by. You know what I mean? And so, yeah. And like I said, Ryan could easily, if it's not a rematch with him, it's a rematch with Rolly. Although I know Rolly was kind of, because Rolly's been running his mouth too, because he's like, everyone is ducking him. And
what else is new?
Right. And I'm like, motherfucker, no one is ducking you. Shit, motherfucker, you keep ducking your Mandos. You get gifted a belt, and then you decide you don't want to play ball and fight your fucking Mandos. Like, nigga, no one is fucking ducking you. You're ducking your Mandos. Fight them, because they'll beat your ass. That's part of the reason why you don't want to fight your Mandos. He keeps avoiding them. And that's the reason why he's on the bench, because he won't fight his fucking Mandos. Or he wanted the Pacquiao fight, and Pacquiao moved on to fight. He's fighting Provodnikov in a 10-round exhibition, which is like a big what the fuck and big whatever type at the same time. So you're shit out of luck, Rolly. Like you got soon the WBA is going to force your hand. You're gonna have to fight your damn Mando, or get stripped. But yeah, and then of course. Lewis Crocker is the other welterweight champion, and it could probably be made. Crocker will probably take the fight regardless, because, like I said, it's just, it will be one of those fights that no one fucking asks for.
Yeah, he'll definitely take the fight,
he'll take the fight. It's just like, just because it's it'll be a payday for him. It'll be much more than going after fucking Patty Donovan again, or Liam Perro.
But I think isn't Perro Crocker happening? I think in March next month.
No. Perro and Donovan are fighting for the eliminator.
Oh, it's not Crocker. Okay, I thought it was
no.
Okay,
It's Donovan and Perro. They're fighting,
and the winner becomes the Mando.
Yeah. So Crocker
UK Aussie matchroom bullshit. Like Eddie keeping it in the family type shit.
Yeah, but obviously, if Ryan wanted to fight him, they'll take the fight. Eddie will be like, yeah, we'll take this fight. The fuck, you kidding me? Yeah, so he's the money man in that division right now, for better or for worse. Welterweight is, it hasn't improved. It's just now, it's more likely now it's going to get more attention with Ryan being a champion in there. But for Barrios, though, Barrios is getting lit up on social media, and rightfully so. Like, it's bad when you have Tim Bradley and Paulie go. Like, they've gone on. Like Paulie's out here. He says, "I can't." That guy. How how bad you have to be when Paulie's like it's talking about how terrible you are, and you can't believe that you actually became a champion. And it wasn't like Paulie lit the world on fire with his title reigns at 140 and 147.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I ain't gonna lie, Paulie be talking like he was a Hall of Famer and shit. I know he's good on the mic.
You were a feather-fisted. Yeah. Well, I'm not even gonna get into that.
You were lucky to be a 2-division champion. That's all I'm gonna say. But you talk about other people like you were the top dog. Like, I'm sorry, Tim Bradley can talk. He's a Hall of Famer. Sure.
Yeah. Tim, I wasn't a Tim fan, but Tim at least has the resume to at least to talk the shit that he was talking.
Tim got one of the best YouTube channels. Like, his YouTube videos are funny as hell, man. Today he was singing the Barrios. It's so hard to say goodbye.
Honestly, I think Tim. I think if someone gets Tim a couple beers like they used to do when I used to go to Friday night fights, and motherfuckers would be bringing Teddy Atlas all types of drinks and shit like that. I swear he's probably a drink or two from actually dropping the N-word on his New York channel because that motherfucker was swearing freely. You know, motherfucker this, that, like that. Before he kept it kind of G-rated and rated, but he's getting more comfortable and he's swearing a whole ton. Like, you know, basically he's fucking talking like how we talk about boxing, but except from a perspective from an actual champion boxer. You know what I mean? Like world champion, Hall of Fame boxer. Yeah, he's funny. Yeah, Bradley's funny like a motherfucker, man. Yeah, but it's like get him some beer, like, and motherfucker will be will go off. You know, but yeah, they're like, you know, but you know how bad it is when you have former world champions going in on him like this, like, and you can't defend, you can't say that, like, well, like they're hating. It was like, because like I said, Barrios, like Pilot said, Barrios made it a long way. Whoever his management is set him up for life. You know, he's made life-changing money. Honestly, dude, and you know, he married the fine Figueroa sister and shit like that. Like, dude won in life. Like, bro, like if we had to grade his life, it's a fucking A+. Like, seriously.
Yeah, and he's been domesticated. So no, get him out the ring.
Yeah. But yeah, but I think now, because you know he's only 30 years old, but I think he's an old 30. Like, he's had too many hard fights, and it's wild too. Like, I've always, now I mean we've all witnessed some bad champions, but at least most of the bad champions that we've watched, some of them were just like one and done type of deals. But dude made it to 3 title defenses as a welterweight champion. We're not counting his lone interim defense against Chico's little brother, who he eventually struggled with in the ring. Dude had no wins. Dude made it to 3 title defenses without a fucking win.
You mean Chino, right? You meant Chino. You said Chico. Chino Madonna.
I thought I said Chino. Chino's little brother.
Chico. I think said Chico. My bad. Either way, yeah. That one didn't. But I mean, shouts out to his manager, because he got a Tank payday, Orion payday, Pac-Man payday. He probably got a little bit of short money, but still, he definitely overexceeded expectation in terms of the money he's made. I'm not trying to pocket watch, but I'm just saying he's, you know, for Barrios' talent, the amount of money he made, he won. Like,
yeah, he won. Yeah, no.
LB said getting A+ ass whoopings.
That's straight up facts too.
Facts.
Straight up.
We're probably not gonna see Barrios in the ring again. Maybe like after this fight, he's probably halfway cooked. He's probably halfway retired. You know, at this point.
Yeah,
he should be full way. He should be all the way retired. We don't want to see him again.
Yeah, and like I said, because you can't, like, if you're gonna be at another main event of a pay-per-view, and you're gonna be putting in an effort like this. Like I said, we went on him for the Pacquiao fight. Like, I think the Pacquiao fight was finally, I think, the fight that everyone finally saw what I've been saying about fucking that motherfucker for years. Like, how mid he was, and like he couldn't beat an old ass Pacquiao clearly. Ramos, he couldn't beat him clearly. You know, fucking Fabian Madonna. You know, he ended up with trademarks all over his face. Ugas is the only fucking fight at welterweight is his quality win that he didn't look fucked up. He didn't end up like a gargoyle because Ugas was more cooked than he was. You know, but yeah, dude needs to fucking retire now. Like, I don't want to. Yeah, like the only fight I want to see Barrios in is he needs to give fucking Akhmadev his fucking rematch. The rematch that should have happened back in fucking 2019 or early 2020 or some shit like that. Like, that should be the fuck. That's the only fight I want to see this motherfucker in.
I fucking run it back with Cowboy Carl one more time. That was
exactly. Yeah, I don't want to see dude at a main event level unless he can actually win a legit title off somebody and do it clearly and in an entertaining manner. Other than that, yeah, keep him in dark matches. Like, yeah, I don't want to see Barrios again, and he deserves the score that he's getting for his performance, because you can't fight all these good fighters, great fighters, but you're out here you can't handle Ryan Garcia. And no, you don't win no type of rounds against Ryan Garcia. So you won like maybe one round on one judge's card. And then that judge must have been drinking too to actually give that motherfucker a round. You know what I mean? But yeah. So like I said, the pay-per-view that like the high point was the co-main, and then that shit brought it down a little bit. So like I said, I mean overall it was like I said, it was a decent night of fights. I can't, like I was entertained again. Like I said, if the Hitchens Duarte fight had happened on there, it would have the pay-per-view quality would have probably been, I would say, high. But now it went from high to like it was cool, it was good. It wasn't average, it was above average, but it wasn't like great. So that's so yeah. Like I said, it was like I said, it was overall it was a good night of fighting, and I was largely entertained. So I can't ask for anything more. But yeah, Barrios just needs to stay the fuck off my TV. Like I pay for that DAZN Ultimate subscription. I don't want to see no more of that motherfucker in any of those DAZN main events or any rank card. Like, yeah.
Would you say the Ultimate is worth it? Are you getting a value? Are you getting a value so far this year? You say?
So I mean, so far because they're actually the fights that put on pay-per-views they're hitting for me. So like I'm not like so like there's no so far it's hit for me. Like I don't feel like I'm throwing my money away. But it's getting like a year's. It's getting like a year kind of. I'm trying it out for a year. But if it dips in quality at any point in this year, where I'm thinking to myself like, God damn, like I'm not getting no pay-per-views, I'm not getting anything like that. Then I'll probably downgrade to what I had before, which is just no pay-per-views involved. And then I just like if I need to go watch pay-per-view, I'll go to fucking Dave and Buster's to go watch that shit. But I mean, so far it's so good. Like I mean, I don't mind. I don't mind it. Like I'm getting my value. Like I'm getting, because I'm getting the cards I'm supposed to get, and the cards they haven't been trash. So I can't ask for anything more. It was a good night. And next weekend, which will kind of end this really good month of February, we have a really, really good unification fight between Emmanuel Navarrete and Eduardo Sugar Nunez. Like that fight is a fight of the year on paper. Like that fight should be nothing but a war right now. Navarrete is. I mean, we've all thought Navarrete has. We've all said that at point he's been, he's been pound for pound, like he's like top 10 fringe because he's fought and beaten a lot of different types of fighters, and he's difficult to fight because of his style is very difficult to beat. But the one thing that's always been holding him back is the fact that his conditioning is he blows up in weight. And it's getting to the point where his conditioning is kind of affecting the way he's been fighting, and it culminated with that embarrassing loss to Baranchik, which, depending on who you talk to, he didn't lose that fight. But then he had the Conceição fight where he puts dude down twice, but people were saying that he should have lost the fight, and I agree. And then he had the scare against Liam Wilson. And then even his last time out against Charlie Suarez, where politics and a ref and blind doctor is the only reason why he didn't lose his belt, which he should have lost the belt to Suarez, and then Suarez didn't get no type of rematch either. So,
but one time the Filipino does good, they do him wrong. It's fucked up.
Yeah, they did him. Yeah, because that motherfucker was. Because that motherfucker was in trouble, like the replay, and I fail to see how they couldn't see in how many fucking cameras they had. Like it was a punch that opened up.
No, that was nasty. That was disgusting, nasty. They saved him.
Yeah, because because on two of the cards he only won by 1 point.
And that shit was getting entertained. Like after that cut he had or whatever. Mm-hmm. Like the last couple rounds was like super lit. That was like round of the year type of shit. It gets forgotten because of the bullshit, but it was some crazy rounds at the end of that fight. It felt
Suarez was getting in his ass. Pause. Like Suarez was beating his ass. Like it only seemed like it was only a matter of time. and it was past the point where if it was stopped on the cut, it like I said, you know, all you needed was a couple more rounds, really, and he would have won that belt. But like I said, it was a punch that caused that cut, and it should have been, and that's what. But they changed it to they changed it to eventually to a no contest. But yeah, Navarrete needs to kind of get his shit together against Nunez. Nunez is a hard fucking puncher. Like, dude, now is he one dimensional? Maybe. But he's a tough. He's a tough one dimension. Like I said, his fights against. Because I know there was a whole bunch of them. Like the Mariaga fight, he beat the shit out of him. The fight they had in Japan, I know you watched that fight where he won the belt. Like, I mean, like that was an ass whooping.
Oh yeah, then Navarrete was Nishida or something like that. Yeah.
And then
Navarrete's power hasn't really translated since he stepped up. You know what I'm saying? He was icing cats out, but ever since he went to the quote unquote championship level, it hasn't really. I mean, he'd even stopped Chris Diaz, right? Didn't that go the distance?
Yeah, that went the distance, and he dropped him like twice though. But he let Diaz have too many moments. Like Diaz was actually hanging in there because he got tired, and Diaz was actually like won those late rounds. But you know. But the fact that he put in so much, he dropped him twice, and he won a lot of those early rounds, like saved them in there. But yeah, it's one of those fights where both guys are looking kind of shaky right now at this point. So but it's like, you know what? Let's, because 130 is like the one division that doesn't get a lot of unifications. So the fact we're getting one at this caliber and like whoever wins this one, I mean, it was probably looking at probably a pound for pound top 10 type of ranking at least, especially for Navarrete. So, P, what do you think about this fight?
Ooh, it's a good fight. Tough fight.
Mm-hmm.
Every fight, I'm wondering when it's going to be the time that Navarrete, finally gets done in. Because I feel like he's always one fight away from that happening. It never fucking happens.
Right.
So is this going to be the fucking fight that it happens? I'll be honest with you. I don't think so. Although Nunez will provide some real toughness. And I think Nunez will give him some issues at points. But I think, once again, the Navarrete train keeps rolling, or he fucking just rolls over people eventually, because he's just got that work rate. That awkwardness is just you can get around it as long as you can, but eventually he's gonna hit you eventually. So
right,
I like Nunez, but I think Navarrete will eventually start landing and might stop him probably late.
What round we thinking?
Like 10th round stoppage.
Yeah, I could see that. I could definitely see that. What about you, Pilot?
Yeah, I mean, Pete said it best. Like, I always think Navarrete is on the verge of being washed, and every time he proves me wrong. You know what I'm saying? The Oscar Valdez fight, I don't lie. I thought Oscar Valdez the second fight was gonna give it something to him, pause, but obviously Navarrete showed levels. And he's always on the verge, I feel like, of being kind of washed. And he showed vulnerability, of course, like the Liam Wilson fight where he got dropped and got a 30-second count type shit. Mm-hmm. We talked about the Suarez shit. But for this fight, it's, Sugar Nunez is going to be there to get hit. So, I think it'll be a real fun fight. Hopefully a fight of the year. On paper, it can't be boring, right? Two Mexicans.
Right.
But yeah, I like P. I think it might be a late stoppage for Navarrete. But you never know. I think Nunez could drop and hurt him early in the fight. I could see it being a full-on Mexican war. So, but I think that Navarrete will prevail.
Yeah, and I agree with both what you guys are saying, because I think too, like Nunez, for like I said, Nunez has, I think, his power. I think he's a harder puncher than Navarrete. Although Navarrete, he gets a lot of his stoppages either from body shots or just extreme volume. I do think. I mean, for at least I think 3/4 of the fight, Nunez will probably make it it would be a hellish fight for him. And it probably wouldn't be good for Navarrete to get hit too much by Nunez at all, because he has, I think, because of those heavy hands. But the one thing about Nunez that raised the red flag to me was just how he hit the wall against Diaz or Christopher Diaz. Like once Diaz, because Diaz managed to get him to the point, and like when he won the fight in Japan, he didn't show this. I didn't think he wore out that much. The Japanese fight was just a lot tougher than he expected, but he still won. Whereas Christopher Diaz is, dude has been like he wasn't supposed to have the moments. Diaz was not supposed to have the moments, and he looked like he was just he looked like he was just gassed. He was like worn out. And against Navarrete, you can't go into a ring with Navarrete and being gassed out because Navarrete himself doesn't gas. He doesn't. I like for all his conditioning issues, that's one thing that he does not do. Like I honestly can't remember off the top of my head. Even the Conceição fight, like he lost. To me, he lost that fight, but he didn't like gas. Like it was just a lot of Conceição was just actually just able to have moments late in the fight where it was unexpected.
I mean, those two knockdowns saved him get that draw, because that second knockdown, he hurt him bad with that fucking overhand, but
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, those two knockdowns, if you knock down somebody twice, that means you basically lost 8-4. If you knock somebody down twice and you get a draw, that means you lost the fight 8-4, really,
Yeah, facts. That's what it is because I think because two of the scores are like 113, 113, and then he won on the other card for like 114, 112 type shit. So it's like, any single time that you get a draw and you just put somebody down twice, you lost the fight, And I know that, and then like I said, the Baranchyk fight was a toss-up fight, and he lost that fight, and I thought he lost that fight. So it's like, it is what it is, because that Baranchyk fight really kind of set him back, because that Baranchyk fight was, it was ugly. It was the rare fight of Navarrete's career where he wasn't Navarrete, but I think it was just basically Baranchyk kind of made him box more and. And it was just like Navarrete he looked like he was just going through the motions, and it cost him. It cost him his belt. It cost him a shot at the lightweight title. So yeah, it was just. But yeah, I think Navarrete hopefully should be a lot sharper, and I do think he'll probably stop him late. I think he'll stop him like round 11. Like it'll be like a TKO stoppage because like Navarrete, like once he sees somebody hurt or gassed. Yeah, he turns on the gas, he will get up out of there. But if Navarrete gets him out there super early and stuff like that, then I'll be like, well, okay, then Nunez maybe he wasn't the type of fighter that I thought he was. Or if Nunez actually stops him, then it'll probably be like, Navarrete's up and down conditioning finally got the best of him, and that's what he deserved. I got the odds right now for the fight, so. If you're going to do a money line on Nunez Navarrete, Nunez is the actual betting favorite at minus 230. I didn't expect that. I didn't expect that at all. Navarrete is a plus 176 underdog. So there's value in that money line. So for methods of victory, so Nunez points decision is plus 145. And Nunez KO is plus 210. A draw is plus 1,500. Navarrete points decision is plus 500. Who the fuck did the odds for this shit? Are you fucking crazy? Plus 500 for a Navarrete decision?
You said that was Arizona, right? It's not in Mexico.
This is Arizona. And then the Navarrete KO is plus 340.
These are some funky odds. What?
Yeah, I'm saying, do they know something that we don't know?
A lot of people think Nunez is in his quote unquote prime, whereas Navarrete.
Oh, brother!
That's what that's because people are picking Nunez because you know how it goes. Some people.
But I'm not saying that Nunez didn't look all that great against Diaz though, and Navarrete, he should have lost though. But that's a plus 500 for a Navarrete decision is bonkers to me. Honestly, I think it should be the other way around. It's either that somebody knows something about Navarrete's conditioning, or Nunez made a stronger impression. Hold up, let me see what DraftKings is talking about. Because those are some crazy fucking odds. So yeah, if you're a degenerate gambler, like I would look I would look into that fight because a plus 500 for a Navarrete decision. It feels like you're about to. That's like you're about to steal something. That shit is crazy. Let me see what DraftKings has to say because I'm very curious to see what we got here. Here we go. Nunez minus 20, minus 225. Navarrete plus 175. Let's see. Do they have the fight props? Fight lines? No, they have round props, but they don't have. They don't have the KO decision ones on here yet. Although I'm sure it'll probably come at some point. But yeah, that's fucking crazy. I've never. So I would watch for this coming month to see if there's anything about Navarrete that's kind of raising a red flag, though. But if not, I recommend anyone to go put some bread on a Navarrete decision or a KO or put it on both. Yeah, because I don't understand the logic why there's a plus 500 on Navarrete for Sugar Nunez of all fucking fighters. I honestly don't understand that shit. So that might be a steal, ladies and gentlemen out there. Like, yeah, you might need. Yeah, I need to make sure because where I'm going, I don't know if I'll be able to. I might have to make sure I put a bet on that before I actually leave this country. But yeah, that's fucking crazy. Like that, that doesn't make any sense to me. But sometimes you got to, if you see a blessing, try to receive it. Oh man, and then this card also has an interesting co-main with Tamir Smalls. Was a good prospect at welterweight facing Abel Ramos in the co-main. And that's
an intriguing fight. Hopefully, for Smalls' case, it's like Amari Jones' areas. I mean that'd be a good thing for him, right?
Right. Yeah, that would be a good thing. Or Abel Ramos shows that he's a vet, and he gives Tamir Smalls the type of fight that young fighters that on the come up should have.
They need that, yeah. I mean, they need that gut check. You know what I'm saying? They definitely. But obviously, getting an impressive win would also be good too. But yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you got one of the Vargas kids, Emiliano Vargas, that's on there. And then Arturo Papoca, like versus Jordan Martinez. Like, if you see a Papoca on one of these matchroom cards, that you should expect all action. And like I said, Emiliano Vargas, of course, 16-0 and everything like that. So, he's getting another spotlight. So, like I said,
the other Vargas walked past me. I saw the other Fernando Jr. I saw him at the casino the other day. That was random. My boy noticed him. I was like, I didn't even realize that was him. He was looking kind of chunky though. I ain't gonna lie, he was looking kind of like off weight.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe he got his father's gene because you know how OG used to be during his fights.
He used to blow up. Yeah,
he used to blow up in weight, and then drain all the way, and then sometimes not even make the fucking weight, and they gotta make the shit a catch weight. That like it could be like a father son type of deal though. But yeah, it should be a decent little card. Like I said. If you're looking for anything to watch or whatever. So yeah, I mean, if anything, just for the main and the co-main, of course, and we'll cap off like what has been a good month for boxing for February. But before we get up out of there, there's one more thing I definitely want to discuss because again, it's all up in the news. Basically, all the things been going on with Floyd Mayweather. Floyd's financial stuff has been in the news lately. That it turns out that Floyd is not as financially sound or as cash wise that he likes to portray himself to be. With Money Mayweather, buying Bugattis, going to Gucci stores and stuff like that. So he made the announcement that he's coming out of retirement. Like after the Mike Tyson exhibition, which I'm rolling my eyes at because. Why is he, he's 150 something pounds. And he's going in the ring with a heavyweight, and a heavyweight that could still hurt him regardless of regardless of what it is. So he's actually said he's coming out of retirement at 48 to actually fight pro. To go back to it's not going to be like a Conor McGregor type of deal. Like he's actually going to come out of retirement and fight, which kind of lends credits to the fact, like, okay, if Floyd is having money problems, then fighting is definitely. And he sure as hell, he's coming out. It's strictly for the money because, no one is coming out at the age of 48 after was it 12 or no? I think it's 10 years because of the fucking McGregor fight. After 10 years or whatever, after not fighting, just you're not fighting for the fuck of it or thinking like, oh, I could still win a title. Like, no, that's bullshit because. That's what a lot of people are trying to reason it as. Whereas the obvious is that Floyd needs to make some money. So, Pilot, what do you think about Floyd coming out at the age of 48 and trying to?
I mean, the money hurting definitely has some legs to it. Valid claim.
Fuck out of here.
Yeah. I mean, it's trash. It's unfortunate. One of the greatest boxers of all time has to come out retirement, maybe risk. Remember, we mentioned that the other week. I think, like we'll see if he loves his zero or his money more. But knowing him, he's not gonna fight somebody that has a chance to take his zero. So, after the Tyson shit, right? He's gonna fight Tyson in Africa.
Yeah, that's an exhibition, so it's not gonna count.
Some Congo warlords paying for that shit, probably. No, but it's unfortunate. It is what it is. It won't be the first and last time a retired all-time great comes out of retirement to box. So, yeah. I mean, I don't know what kind of fight they're gonna do him versus Pacquiao. Like, come on, man. I don't know. I don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much been that's the fight that's been talked about even before Floyd actually gave notice he's coming out of retirement. Mayweather Pacquiao too.
And Pacquiao's fighting Provocanov, isn't he? Fighting Provocanov like in an
exhibition too. Yeah. So, God, these exhibitions, like, and it's not Floyd has been fighting exhibitions since the McGregor fight. Like, he's fought his old sparring partners. He's fought the fucking Gotti kid. He fought Tension. He knocked him out because and shit like that. So he's been fighting, but with the exception of the Logan Paul one. I think which is the last time that his exhibition kind of aired on an American TV type of deal. Like, he's been fighting all these obscure. He's been fighting on Zeus. He had one on DAZN. He's been fighting on all these random ass platforms that no one would be really watching. No one really watches it because he kind of, in a way, he kind of devalued his own. Floyd devalued his own exhibitions. Where it had been a little bit more choosy and selective on actually doing it, he probably could have at least kind of made some more bread with doing that. But like I said, if he's having money flow problems, cash flow problems, then you got to kind of you probably need to go where get where you can get a bigger slice of the pie. P, what do you think?
I think this whole shit is a fucking farce. So fucking stupid.
Yeah, no, it's sad too because Floyd has made the money a large part of his personality, his fight persona, and everything like that. And I know there's some people like now because we've all come in contact, we've all talked with Floyd, super Floyd stands, and Floyd can't do no wrong. And I know even those motherfuckers are like, even they can't say anything. Like, it's like, well, I mean, they have to, even they're admitting like, yeah, Floyd has some money issues. But like the motherfuckers that believe that Floyd is just coming out because he sees that the welterweight division is weak, and he's going like, you motherfuckers don't know what you're talking about. Like, first of all, who even knows if Floyd's even going to fight at fucking welterweight? So it's not like it's just like it's not even a given that Floyd's gonna be fighting at no damn welterweight. So, and then second of all, why would a 48-year-old who has grossed somewhere between $800 million and $1.2 billion in his fights, just want to come out of retirement, not want to do exhibitions, but actually wants to do a pro game. Like, why would a fighter want to do that? Especially with someone who has made as much money as he does. There are fighters who have come out of retirement for far less, and they don't come out of retirement just for that. Like, I mean, I'll use the example with Foreman. When Foreman came out of retirement, he was 38 years old. Physically, obviously, he wasn't in prime form or anything like that. But it was more common for a 37, 38, 39-year-old fighter to come out of retirement.
Especially heavyweight. The heavyweight, too. Heavyweight, you're 38 is kind of young still,
Well, back then it really wasn't, because his era, his era of heavyweights, like Ali, Ali, Norton, Frazier, they got escorted out like by the 80s heavyweights. Like, they were gone. Like, they couldn't hang with them. Foreman could have had their fate too if he continued.
Foreman wasn't broke, was he? I mean, he didn't come out of retirement because
he did come out because he was broke.
Oh, he did? Okay, that's the main reason. Okay, I didn't
Now
know.
the movie had it. He stole that someone stole his money, which isn't true. The money ran out. That was the thing. Like, he had
in the 70s. I mean, 70s. You probably were making that kind of money, in the 70s, right? So I mean, it was decent money, of course, back then, but. Compared, boxing and money always grow. The money always grows every decade, right?
Well, I mean, I'd say Foreman. I think Foreman definitely made good money in his first run. But like I said, it was. I mean, Zaire was probably the most he probably made, because Mobutu probably, I think, paid him like millions. Which is probably like 3 times or 4 times the amount today, something like that. So. Due to inflation, like
when did the Foreman girls come out? The 90s. The Foreman girl, was it
the 90s? Right? Yeah, the 90s. Foreman was wealthy as fuck by the 90s. He didn't need boxing anymore, but when he came out of retirement, he needed boxing. And that was the difference. And then people saw how he progressed. He became a contender. He gave Holyfield a great fight, and then. He eventually won the title again,
and he lost to Morrison. It is kind of crazy though how like he's in the fight with probably the best win ever with the Ali beating him, but also he has one of the best like old man wins that we're ever gonna see. It's kind of crazy how that works. What a legend! Rest in peace to George Foreman.
It is, and what that did was it had other fighters from his eras come out of retirement, like Ernie Shavers came out of retirement. He lasted 2 fights before he got knocked out by a pure bum and retired. Ron Lyle came out. I think he won like 4 fights, but he won them all, though. But he never continued after that. And the most famous one was Jerry Quarry, who was already brain damaged. And if you ever go on YouTube to see Jerry Quarry's last fight, it's literally one of the most disturbing beatings you'll ever see, because Quarry got the beating of his life in a fight where he didn't need to do that. So, like I said, it's not even a given. I know most people say, "Well, Floyd didn't take a lot of punishment in the ring." Again, it's not true. Floyd may have not took a lot of punishment in the ring like that, but training and everything always adds up. And reflexes do slow, no matter if you took punishment or not, a lot of punishment or not. They do slow in the ring, and it's just like not everyone comes out of retirement. And it's just like they're not like when people don't understand that fighters are human. Like then it becomes like a harder pill to swallow when you see them. Okay, they're not they're getting their ass whooped. Like same thing with Ali. Ali came out of retirement against Larry Holmes. If you ever watched the Ali Holmes ESPN Plus documentary, who's you saw the reasons why Ali took the beating that he took. Against there. Or you have Bernard Hopkins, like in more recent example. Bernard Hopkins didn't go away retirement. Bernard Hopkins fought into his late 40s and was effective. He's the oldest champion in boxing. But then again, even as you age, there's always a point. Like, Hopkins got the beating of his life against Kovalev, and then he got knocked out by Joe Smith after that. Father Time waits for no man. And this was a Hopkins that was active. He was active as fuck. So I honestly, I would hope that that maybe someone that's actually and I won't get into who's managing like Floyd right now because I don't want YouTube to kind of be like, oh, wait a minute, what are y'all talking about? What are y'all talking about? Why are you mentioning that in that form? Because we had a Jake Paul video that we talked about that got a restriction on that because of what we talked about. So, but I'll say this though, whoever's Floyd's brain trust should really look at putting his licensing his name on some products. Like Floyd should be on a Wheaties box. Floyd should have endorsements out of his ass. Floyd should be a Jordan brand athlete. Like there's a lot of things. Triple G was a Jordan brand athlete. Why couldn't Floyd be one? Like there's a lot of things I feel that could ease whatever cash flow issues that Floyd has, other than him coming out of retirement at almost 48, or he's gonna be he's gonna be 49 this year. Not even 48. He's gonna be 49 this year. Like it's just not a good idea. Regardless of what we think, what Floyd is as a boxer.
Some people suggest Bud versus Floyd. Like, come on now, don't be serious.
And I know most people don't like. I mean, have their views about Floyd, but if Floyd fought Crawford now, Crawford would beat the living shit out of him right now.
Yeah, head to head, I have thoughts about that. But either way, like in the prime. But yeah, right now it's like, come on, like I think Bud respects Floyd too much to he would even consider that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
like, but it also says it to the state of boxing where a fight like a Mayweather Pacquiao 2 has legs, and I hated the first fight, and I didn't care to see the rematch. Pacquiao has not shown me anything to even for me to even want me to see him fight. I want him to retire.
Bro, the buzz for Roy Jones Tyson when that happened, that kind of reignited boxing for better or for worse. That like I didn't get why the buzz was so big for that. I know it's Roy Jones and Tyson, but still,
Well, because Roy and Mike have a history. Like I know
they're supposed to fight. Yeah, they're supposed to fight until Tarver knocked them out. Yeah, I know. Jay Prince said that he had that fight in the bag until he could be capping, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. But no, I mean they had, because like LB mentioned too, like they had, like back in the day on the Source Awards, like they mentioned it on there, and it like honestly that would have been a culture fight, and on top of Roy actually being heavyweight champion of the world, he was a fucking heavyweight champion, so like that fight had real legs, but it just it fell apart because of some a lot of stuff, a lot of other issues and stuff like that, and that's why they ran it back. So that at least had that history, But Floyd, I can't see Floyd want to because even if Floyd needs money, like how much are people going to see him to go? Well, hey, let's fight. I mean, Ryan Garcia, maybe they'll probably see it because it'll have probably one of the most racist buildups I could ever imagine. Like I mean, or Floyd fighting Rowley, or Floyd fighting Crocker, or Floyd fighting Devin Haney, which is I've heard little bandied about, like who the fuck is gonna pay big money to see that shit? Nobody. No, because no one cares about those fights. And the fights that people do care about for Floyd, they're risky for him. Like Crawford fight, if he fights Crawford, he's getting his ass whooped. If he decides to run it back with Canelo, which Canelo wants, it's just like it's just too much risk for a guy that should never have to fight again. Should never have to fight again. But I guess we'll see how this all plays out. Like once the exhibition started, if maybe there's a divine intervention or something like that. That kind of steers Floyd away from having to fight, resume his pro career for real. Like dude started in 1996, so like it's not a good idea. It's not a good idea at all. No matter if he didn't quote unquote take as much punishment in the ring. But yeah, I think that's about it for now. I know the franchise card is about to start, and I want to watch that, and we'll probably talk about that next week, of course. Or if fuckery pops off tonight, brother LB, who might go live and actually, to say his piece and whatever about that and whatever. So, do you guys have any final thoughts before we get up out of here?
No, not really.
All right, have a good week, everybody. Be safe. Have a good rest of your Black History Month.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're in the Northeast, man, hopefully you got your groceries and everything, and you know
they already banned travel over here.
Oh
so,
damn. Yeah. How much snow they predicted you? How much snow you predicted to get, P, in your area?
I don't know how much exactly. It's not sticking yet. So, but starting 9 o'clock, we're not supposed to be on the road.
Oh damn! See, I don't have that banned just yet. So I mean, like I had to run around today just to kind of to deal with that, and it's just
and real quick to anybody out there, because we got a bunch of nincompoops here, like not here, but like this city has a bunch of nincompoops. You know, Pat, let me tell you, there are people complaining that they have to show ID to shovel snow because our mayor is like, hey, if anybody wants to shovel snow, you'll get paid for it. So you got to show ID. Why do we need to show ID? We got to show 2 forms of ID because it's a fucking job. And any job you've ever signed up for, have you not have to show fucking documents? Yes. So shut the fuck up. Motherfucker. Oh my God. People have fucking pistachios for brains. I swear. I'm sorry. I didn't need to go ranting that shit, but like.
No. Yeah. If you any job that you, I mean, unless they want to pay you under the table, which has a lot of some questionable legalities. It's like, yeah, if you want to get paid by the state, then yeah, you gotta show that you gotta show IDs, you gotta show a license, you gotta show a passport, you gotta show a social security card, you gotta show something that says who are you and what are you doing here. You know what I mean? Come on. You know, like yeah, people gotta understand, people gotta realize, like, I mean, that should not be, you know, like if you don't want to show those IDs, then clearly you're looking for a pay under the table shit. And yeah, you can't, you know, it's not feasible unless you own your own, like, you know, unless you own your own plow or whatever. But people are bugging about that. That's stupid. But yeah, no, I'm not looking forward. See, I honestly, I think I'm like, I was, because I remember when I was booking my trip, because I mentioned before I'm gonna be traveling in a couple days, and I'm thinking, was like, I would, you know, I booked this like at least months in advance. So of course I didn't expect that this week would be like vicious. And funny things too is I almost booked it for Monday, and I would have been in trouble. So yeah, so I think Tuesday's the only day where it's not supposed to snow. So hopefully Tuesday, the calm before, because Tuesday everything's supposed to kind of stop, and I know we're supposed to get more snow, but it's gonna be like light snow. So I'm hoping that I can get on this fucking plane because it's an early morning flight, and I can get out and I can have my flight into Miami without any issues. Because at least I know Miami doesn't fucking snow down there.
Stay safe, my East Coast ninjas.
You know, yeah. So it's
appreciate it.
Yeah, and that's another thing because, like I said, because who knows, I might not even have electricity tomorrow. So yeah, so it's good that we got this off there. But yeah, cross the fingers though that the storm is not as heavy as it's gonna as they say it's gonna be, or it doesn't hit our areas, BNP's areas directly. But yeah, so for myself, you know, Pat Scorpio, New England representative, for King People Digby and for Conscious Pilot, you know, shout out to the rest of the Ring Gang Click, you know, holding it down in their own ways. And as always, it's been another wonderful episode of Real Talk, where as always, if shit's real, we talk about it. So until next time, peace.